Fire, fire, fire. What, are we review bombing? What's this? Arrowhead believes we are fascist role-playing as Helldivers and playing as Helldivers. Looks like we were not meant to play this game at the start. Get fucked. Arrowhead Game Studios. Helldivers 2 says you're evil, brainwashed fascists. They hate you. What's going on? What the heck? The developers hate you, the player, and think you're a dumb little fascist IRL for enjoying their game. They think they tricked you into being a fascist and are talking with the UN on how they did it. What? The UN? Bro, that is crazy. What's going on? Wait, would we be okay with it? Brain Dead Studio, the developers hate you, you don't buy the game, the developer a pure bug poster. I regret supporting the studio with my patronage of this game. What's going on? Oh, the context. Okay, yeah, I was about to say. The United Nations asked Helldivers 2 studio Arrowhead if it'd give a talk on psychological manipulation. Could we brainwash an entire community to fight for a fascist state? Would we be okay with it? Turns out, yeah. Players' eagerness in the fight for Super Earth begs the question, are we the baddies? What? Is this fake? There's no way. What? Let me look it up. What? Is United Nations trying to brainwash us, chat? Is this actually real? Did they actually say yes? I don't know. I'm gonna look it up. Hold on. Helldivers 2 United Nations. Oh my god, it's real. There's like actual several sources. Oh my god! It's not just PC Gamer, but we'll read PC Gamer. It's funny reading them. What does it got to say? Okay, let me read this. Okay. We read the first part. If you played Helldivers 2 for more than 15 seconds, you're probably well acquainted with the game's wry sense of humor. Yeah, because it parodies Starship Troopers. The game sees players dying in droves as disposable soldiers in the name of theoretical democratic utopia. Not that they'd ever see it, as they're all too busy getting torn apart by giant bugs and landing supply drops on each other's heads. Okay. In a talk at 2025 Game Developer Conference titled Helldivers 2 Capturing Lightning in a Bottle, Arrowhead CEO reiterated for anyone out of the loop that yes, the game is meant to be ironic and the fight for Super Earth was always meant to paint players as dispensable henchmen. Yeah. What is Helldivers 2 fundamentally? It would probably be fun to play a co-op action shooter where you're put in the shoes of the evil side grunts of pop culture. How many seconds would you be able to survive? Yeah. Of course, you might start to wonder how fun it'll actually be once you consider the implications of dressing up players in fascist uniforms and calling them to arms under the banner of an imperial state to die, and die again in the name of democracy. We asked ourselves, could we brainwash an entire community fight for a fascist state? Would they? Would we be okay with that? And turns out, yeah, actually, he said during his talk. Yeah, they literally can't help themselves. They just can't help themselves. This is fucking crazy. Implying that people who play the game are fascist, and if they're not, that playing a video game with fun mechanics and fun gameplay is brainwashing them? And that would it actually just be this easy to turn everyone into fascists? There's no way all of the devs for Helldivers think this way, right? This is just one guy talking out of his ass to like own the chuds at the studio. It has to be. I just can't. What? They're reading way too much into this. That's what I'm saying. Like, what's going on? Are they gonna come after Warhammer next, man? But it wasn't just players whose heads were turned by Helldivers' sardonic spin on imperial warfare. They also garnered the attention of a little organization you might have heard of before called the United Nations. Yeah, they're really great. Actually, we got a message from the UN asking if we want to talk in some form about the psychological defense against manipulation. This might all sound like the game is getting a little too real, but he said the key was in finding the right tone and using the imagery in an almost educational way. We do it all in fun and good spirits, and we actually try to get people to recognize the signs of what is a totalitarian state. If you start wearing the same uniform as everybody else and do salutes constantly, you might be in a totalitarian regime. Chat, you have to find the right tone. Yeah, in other words, you need to make sure that people know you're only half serious about telling them they're fascist for liking a video game. Otherwise, they'll realize you're gaslighting them. This is so unbelievably slimy. Is this the 2025 version of video games make children violent or kids violent? I thought we graduated past that. Now video games make kids fascists? Come on, brother! What are we doing? The UN thinks this way and they're like, okay, how do we make kids think that this is not okay? This is fascist propaganda. You successfully psyoped people into thinking like this, and Helldivers 2 having propaganda pieces and people posting memes about killing bugs. Why is the UN even a thing? The UN is such a joke. Genuinely. They are such a joke. Every 5 years there's always some major news agency or congressman that has to blame video games for the world's problems. Yeah, but this is the UN you're talking about. The United Nations, of all things. When I was a kid, I thought United Nations was like about giving money to kids in Africa and save them from AIDS and like giving them food. That was my like, you know, that was my take when I was a kid. Like in primary school when we learn about like foreign aid and stuff, that's what I thought. UNICEF, again, I was a kid. Don't blame me for being ignorant. I'm just saying I thought that that's what it was about. It's unclear if Arrowhead actually had any further discussions with the UN, but it speaks volumes to the game's far-reaching influence and evocative riffs on the fascist propaganda. Games are not unfamiliar with these sorts of discussions, but rarely does one invite them so bluntly. Aspen has been harping on recently about the reason government being bad in recent years is because there's a ton of Karens in the government. I don't pay enough attention, like, me personally, I don't pay enough attention to know, and I have no desire to find out, but shit like this makes me think he's probably right. Like, literally, who at the UN is just scanning video games looking for something they deem problematic? And going, how can I use this to push my own political agenda? It has to be the Karens, man! You just know some kid's mom who works for the UN saw little Timmy playing this game, this little Helldiver game, and dressing up and saluting with his with his little friends and killing bugs, and was like, "Oh my God, my child is playing! Oh my God, and they're being a fascist in this video game!" And then starts fucking. I'm gonna fucking tell. I can't believe this. The CEO of the United Nations needs to know. So mad. They parodied this kind of thing in South Park back in the 90s. Yeah, with like cussing. It's like the same thing, but like it's the same thing, bro. Ugh. To drive the point home and prevent Helldivers 2 from getting too depressing. Oh my God, what is this? Arrowhead pulled on the shiny patriotic aesthetics of the US, the EU, and the UN itself, as well as the mantras of regimes like Nazi Germany and North Korea. I'm sorry, what? Can I read that again? Arrowhead pulled on the shiny patriotic aesthetics of the US, the EU, and the UN itself, as well as the mantras of regimes like Nazi Germany and North Korea. This is so unbelievable. Like, how do you type this and not think you're a fucking idiot for typing this? Like, if I typed this unironically, I'd be like, Maybe I need to get a lobotomy. I need to get a grip on reality. What are they even trying to say here? It creates pleasing aesthetics, the CEO of Arrowhead noted. Because there's something totalitarian regimes are really good at, and it's pleasing aesthetics. Chat, reminder, if you like Warhammer, and you like the armor in Warhammer, and you like the Giga Chad big dudes, they're like 10 foot tall, that means you're a fascist. You like fascist pleasing aesthetics. Like, what are they actually trying to say here? They say they're pulling on patriotic aesthetics from the US, the EU, and the UN, and then immediately says they use mantras of Nazi Germany. Like, did I miss something here? Are you trying to hint that people who are patriotic about their country, or I guess, like, a group of countries, if you live in the EU, are fascists? Because they find the aesthetic of Helldivers 2 pleasing? I love fashionism. Yeah, I guess rename it to fashionism. You're not allowed to wear a cloak on your back. This is crazy. I just don't understand the point of this paragraph at all. And they start it with, like, prevent from getting too depressing. Is it just me, Chad? Am I perceiving this wrong? Am I reading this wrong? They say the US, EU, and UN have patriotic aesthetics, and then immediately say that totalitarian regimes are really good at pleasing aesthetics. Like, I think they kind of just wrote something at the end here. This is the Arrowhead CEO. This isn't PC Gamer saying this, by the way. He wrote this speech for the conference. It creates pleasing. I don't know. It's weird. CEO, creative director, the way it's cringe. I just, it's hard to imagine Helldivers without its satirical stormtroopers in every corner of the galaxy, and players have certainly responded to the game's call to arms with eager roleplay, joking and otherwise. So now we have to explicitly joke and say, guys, I'm doing the salute, I'm not a Nazi, I fucking swear. This is crazy. What? Imagine every time you launched up Helldivers and you guys started saluting each other, one of you has to like say, guys, just so we're clear, I don't like Nazis. I don't like I don't like Nazi Germany. Every time I do the salute, it means I'm doing it as a joke. Like, we're doing it for parody purposes. Imagine Starship Troopers did that every time. Combine it with Helldivers 2 novel approach to live servers wherein games developing war constantly finds new ways to seem comically hopeless, and it seems like Arrowhead is better at indoctrinating loyal soldiers than one might expect. Though given Magicka's bewildering Vietnam expansion... What?! Wait, what? Oh, this went off topic. What? Vietnam expansion, we should have seen this coming. Excuse me. I'm allergic to bullshit, sorry. I literally read the Vietnam part and I was like, bah! Goodness gracious, I'm sorry. Attention FBI agent monitoring my gameplay. All fascist actions are satire and I in no way support fascist ideals or beliefs. I will post on Reddit promptly after my session for good boy credits. Chat, when you say slurs in video games, an FBI agent starts listening to you. Good, sweet pongers. Yeah, you get your own little dedicated FBI agent. I don't say slurs because I can get prosecuted. Yeah, you're from Germany. Nope, not allowed. What is this? Hell yeah, I was a bit uncareful with how I express this. I didn't realize it could be picked up as something negative. Should have been more clear. They reached out to us after the game blew up to talk about what role satire in games play in psychological defense against totalitarianism. The quote on us wanting to brainwash the community was made on a note on getting everyone to roleplay the message of a totalitarian state of super orders. I don't disagree. I just think it's funny that United Nations thinks that this is a problem, you guys. We need to study this. Like, him saying that is like, you know, they probably took it a little bit out of context, but actually reading the article, I think it covers pretty well. So, I don't know, man. Reading the article fully, I think, covers it pretty well, but the title is a bit clickbaity. Wait, so he kind of, he doubles down a little bit? Because he did say this. This isn't... I don't know, chat. Take this for what you will, man. He doesn't dismiss the fact that he did actually say that people actually think this. If you start wearing the same uniform as everybody else and do salutes constantly, you might be a totalitarian regime. I don't know, chat. The CEO is kind of cooked. This is my perspective. This is my perspective. You can think whatever you want. You can play Helldivers and be like, no, the CEO doesn't actually think this. This is... Alana, you're wrong. I don't care. I think, in my opinion, this is really weird. So every military ever... Yes, they make good uniforms and clean uniforms and they look good on people so that they join the army. Every army does this. They literally recruit people that are young and... Yes, Hugo Boss. Yes, Hugo Boss was a military, like, fashion person before he developed into a mainstream fashion sense. Like, that's a thing, but doesn't mean that every single military complex is fucking Nazis and shit. Jesus. Yeah, Hugo Boss was a Nazi, yeah. Hugo Boss didn't design the uniform, they just manufacture them. Yeah, but, like, the point still stands. Like, you are involved in the process. This also very much stinks, to me, this very much stinks of damage control. Oh no, whoops, everyone's review bombing me, time to make a statement. Just kidding, guys. Haha, I should have chosen my words more carefully, but I actually meant it because PC Gamer article is correct. How long did it take for him? 8:12, and then he posted this at 8:15? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. This reeks of damage control to me. The UN sucks, though. I can't believe they even gave him the time of day. If the UN is knocking at your door and being like, hey, can we talk? I'd be like, hell no. What do you want from me? Have we not heard? Wasn't there... Hold on. Was it the UN where she got arrested for... Maybe it wasn't the UN. Yes? Yes, the slavery thing? The woman that actually did slavery to a woman and trafficked her into the UK? I don't know. Methinks there's not great things in the UN. UN take this as a priority when they have bigger problems they should be focusing on. No, we gotta talk about the fascists in video games, chat. Next, they'll be coming after your Warhammer, chat. Watch out!